The Metro Plastic Initiative unites selected global suppliers, our 16 million professional customers worldwide, and Plastic Bank to make a difference on the ground. Plastic Bank was founded as a social enterprise by CEO David Katz in 2013. The company uses plastic waste as a solution to fight extreme poverty in coastal regions around the world. Collectors bring wildly discarded plastic waste to Plastic Bank's collection centres and receive a premium which they can use to buy family necessities or access education. The collected plastic is sorted, regenerated, and offered as social plastic for the production of packaging. One issue solved by another. We met David and asked him questions. Can we rethink the value of plastic? Can this be a currency?
If that bottle, or every piece of packaging that you saw, was worth €5, how many would you see in the ocean? In the waste bin? In the waterways? Discarded in the environment? So there's a few things that we need to be aware of in that conversation. I think most importantly, as much as we want to vilify plastic, we can't. Because it's not the plastic, it's us. It's the way we've been viewing the material that has had it arrive where it is. Even in the conversation of words, to say things that, or communicate that things are waste, is a part of the problem. All we have in the world are material resources. And the Plastic Bank continues to endeavor to create the circularity where all of those are revealed as valuable.
Fighting plastic pollution of the oceans, how do you tackle this with Plastic Bank?
Certainly, we know that the marine ecosystem is polluted, and there is a conversation about cleaning that environment. That's critically important. But I think what is even more important is to prohibit the ocean from needing to be cleaned to begin with. It's like walking into your kitchen with your sink overflowing, with water spilling all over the floor and seeping into the foundation, and in a panic, you have only in front of you a bucket, a mop, or a plunger. You have to choose one. Well, what you really need to be doing is to turn off the tap. Futile to mop or plunge or scoop up the water if we don't turn the tap off. It's the same thing we need to be doing for the ocean. Futile to try to clean it up. So back to the solution is about revealing the inherent value in all material resources and in people.
What sparked the idea to found Plastic Bank, David?
I'm going to give you the authentic answer. The authentic answer is that it was every decision and every experience of my life that led me to it. There was no one time. There was a moment that it all coalesced. I grew up on an island on the west coast of Canada. I began watching the degradation of a marine ecosystem, my backyard, some 35 years ago or more. And it's been in my mind since. One of the coalescing images was from the work of a photographer called Chris Jordan, who traveled out to Midway Island, one of the most remote pieces of land in the world, to visit an albatross rookery, where he photographed and filmed the decomposing corpses of thousands of albatross, so full that they had died from the inability to take on nourishment, the starving full. The chicks that were fed by the parents who swam or flew to the ocean thinking that they were bringing back food for their chick. I'm struck in those images and the knowing that the decomposing corpse of that chick would release the plastic that killed it to kill again. And I knew then in that moment as well that something had to be done, that it was beyond the tipping point. We had to act. And I've dedicated my life now to put action into the hands of every single person.
How does Plastic Bank fight poverty with ocean-bound plastic?
We're best exemplified to the world as a chain of stores for the poor. It's a marketplace for the world's emerging, where everything in the store is available to be purchased using plastic resources. Everything in the store includes school tuition, medical insurance, Wi-Fi, cooking fuel, access to clean water, diet diversification, everything the world's poor need and have struggled to afford. now using material resources that lie below their feet, that they would otherwise have thrown into a marine ecosystem or burned and suffered the cardiopulmonary disease associated with it. Truly using what was waste as true worth for the world. But in the conversation, we don't do anything for people. We create a space for them to have their own awareness, where they recognize their own power over their own life. And we take the hopeless and make them hopeful.
We are the first wholesaler worldwide to work with Plastic Bank. What makes our partnership special to you?
The Metro AG and Plastic Bank relationship is powerful in that it allows everyone to participate, whether you're an employee or a customer, one of 16 million, or even the employee of one of your customers, or a supplier, or an employee of a supplier, to truly participate. Everyone has been asks and is in the recognition that they want to do something about what's unfolding and don't know how. As an employee of Metro AG, what an opportunity to seek a way to help. How might you participate? What other ideas are available? What creativity do you have that's going to create a space for the entirety of the organization to change? What might exist within the store? What might exist within a conversation with one of your customers? What could exist in marketing or in a mailer that lands in the store of one of your customers or in the restaurant of one of your customers where another employee of theirs may see that? Everyone is infinitely powerful, and there's never been a greater time in history to make your mark. This relationship is going to make that so. Our relationship has created a platform for hundreds and hundreds of families to have access to education, insurance, information, data, access to food programs, plastic for food. Our relationship as well, during the midst of COVID, created the space for additional collectors to join, hundreds and hundreds of more families. That as a result of COVID and their communities where their work was shut down, with no government assistance, something that we take for granted here, they were left to starve. In their relationship with Plastic Bank and the support of Metro AG and their partners, we've been able to create programming for countless collectors around the world that have now had access to Plastic Bank and the ability to return plastic for food and for other things that they need.
Looking at the greater goal, creating a circular economy, what more needs to be done, David?
But yes, there's so much more to do. We need to create the space for the reduction of virgin plastic, period. Plastic is a remarkable substance. We're a giant stand for that. We certainly have to reduce single-use material, but we're beyond the tipping point of replacing plastic. There's 10 trillion kilos of plastic on the earth, roughly $1 a kilo. It's a $10 trillion value. The earth this year will need about 500 billion, but we keep making more when so much is available for us. How crazy is it that we continue to produce virgin material? So the Plastic Bank is a stand against the production of virgin plastic. That is a catastrophe, an untold catastrophe that will affect generations for 1,000 or more years.
A plastic tax will be implemented in Spain in 2022. What is your point of view on regulating plastic?
Well, the Plastic Bank believes that government has a role in taxing that it doesn't want to have created. Give incentive to that you want to occur and tax that you don't want to occur. Well, I can easily communicate that taxing virgin plastic production, something that we don't want to occur, makes sense. And taking that revenue and creating additional recycling infrastructure and giving incentive to those who are creating a space for that material to be used in a regenerative economy makes a tremendous amount of sense. Government does have a role in some instances, and this may be one of them.
Plastic Bank is a for-profit company. Is there really a business case for companies that focus on purpose?
There's an economic profitability in doing all of this. It's a regenerative economy that's emerging. It's a purpose economy. It's this place where we've gone from give me what I want to support that I believe in, and the brands that are going to win, those who are going to be able to captivate and capture the next powerful executive are ones that are going to have purpose inside of them. I don't have to convince anyone of anything. People will learn on their own that this is what is occurring. Look at the Greta generation. Look what just occurred at COP as well. The millions of people marching through the streets for regeneration. It's not about sustainability anymore. It's not about, well, let's do less damage than we did before. We're beyond that point. People are looking to see how are we going to repair the damage that we just inflicted upon the earth and upon society. There are still hundreds of millions of people that are starving every day. The base billions of the world are forgotten because we, the rich, don't believe that we can be satisfied. And there's a lot to do in the world that creates regeneration and creates even more prosperity for all. It's an old business model where the shareholder wins first.
How do you take on responsibility for the next generations that start coming in now as employees, customers, and stakeholders?
I think it's much less about what we tell them and much more about what we do. I know that my children don't necessarily listen to what I tell them, but do what I do. I have a favorite quote, and it reads, "We have the opportunity to choose who our children's parents will be." We have the opportunity to choose who we'll be in the world, at least for our children. So I choose an environmentalist, social entrepreneur, kind, extremely funny. And so that in my being, in my doing in the world, it creates the space for them to be in their doing as well. It's the safe space to see it in action that creates the space for them to be in action, to know that it's not unusual, that it's the right thing to do, that it's normal to steward the environment. I think that's way more important than words.